I guess welcome to the first episode of Templar Talks for 2025. It's been a while. It's a very intimidating situation because there's a large group of men surrounding me.
I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Obviously, I'm joined by my co-host, Todd Doe. Have you been, Todd? Good?
Yeah, not bad.
Nice. And we're joined by very special guests, Team Templar, the entirety of the team. And we've even got a fucking producer over there that's off camera. What should we call you? Because you're not known. Like, we'll just call you Producer James.
That'll do.
That'll do.
You'll
he
never
doesn't
want
like
to see
Magic the
him.
Gathering. He has no interest in card games or anything nerd culture, and he's somehow convinced to come here and monitor the audio for this fucking mess.
Until he falls asleep.
This is going to be the worst hour of my life.
Yes, yeah. I actually, on the subject of falling asleep, I think my money's probably on James, because he does look like he's about to go into a sugar coma,
The first one.
Lord, take me now.
But yeah, we figured we'd come into 2025 with a bit of a bang. Initially,
What kind of bang, Stephen?
initially this was going to be our whole launching what have we been calling it? Beyond Templar Talks Beyond the Universes. But I don't think the premise of that works, because we were initially going to be releasing one every month, and I think we've recorded 3 already this year. So I think it's going to be they're just going to have to go out as and when events happen. So keep an eye out. We've got one with Simon, co-owner of Skyward, coming out soon, and one with Alex Percival from Gathering Point Games also, and I think there's another one that's due to be filmed, but I'm not going to announce it in case the filming gets delayed. So to kick things off, obviously, welcome. I think you've all been on this podcast at various... I don't think Will and Ed, you haven't, as the most recent members of the team. I think everyone else has guested on here.
Back when we were doing the Commander stuff, I did exist.
Oh, damn! The live streams in in the basement of Athena.
It's been a minute.
That was a time back when we used to play Commander. Were you on? Were you on? Obviously, so the premise of this is it's going to be a bit of a throwback into last year and how we did as a team and what we want to improve. And on that throwback, were you on the episode when Simon George came and starred?
No, I don't think I was in that one. I remember doing one in the basement of Athena with Alex, but
Okay.
that was it, I think.
I think fun trivia fact. I think the episode with Simon George is the only podcast episode I've ever edited. Mandatorily, of course. I think all the others have gone out. I mean, maybe this one will need to get edited with fucking 7 people here. But we will see. James, you look quite absent. Have you been finding life in Magic the Gathering? Obviously, we've all come back from Prague.
Not all
I
of
say
us.
all of us. I think Will, everyone but Will and Todd.
Mm-hmm.
So Prague. Let's kind of start at the bottom. How was your RC experience, James?
Wonderful.
Cool. How did your day 1 go? What was your record?
Absolutely terrible.
What do you think? Because you did the Open, right? Day 2, day 3. Yeah. What do you think was the big change? Because you did very well at the Open. You did, you got a pretty good record.
I think it's just getting a good night's sleep and going into the tournament with a good positive mindset.
Lord have mercy. Cool.
Just edit.
Will and Todd, do you guys feel? Did you get a bit of FOMO? Missing out on Prague?
Absolutely. Love going on a trip with the boys.
Massively. That would have been a lot of fun.
And modern as well,
Yeah,
Like,
best format.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gutted, really. And gutted for everyone's results, which we'll hear more about.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't even know James did all right on day 2.
I did tell you multiple times. You're a bad friend.
You really should have Gurney on more often. I think.
Yeah, we did when we noticed that whenever James has guested on videos, he completely changes his entire how he talks.
Personality.
Yeah.
Didn't know it could get any worse.
It's like the artist formerly known as James Gurney.
I think this is the only time he actually masks,
Yeah, maybe.
and he's just not very good at it.
Oh, fuck. sake.
So, but there was travel issues, right? There was travel issues on the way to Prague.
Lovely 6-hour delay on the flight.
6 hours delay.
6
wow.
hours.
Yeah.
That
it was
I'm not
pretty rough.
sad that
Yeah,
I missed out on that.
I actually had quite a good weekend.
I think
3
so.
flights though. 3 flights.
Yeah, well, and then some, I guess. Yeah, we
Yeah.
paid 20 quid for the flight, and what did we
Wow.
get back in the end?
Okay.
About 210 quid or whatever. it was.
210.
Silver lining. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paid 20 quid for that flight.
I think it was 20 quid, yeah.
20-30, somewhere around that,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
We went Wizz Air, like, literally no luggage.
Yeah.
Raw dogged
Sure.
it.
Yeah, it was rough.
You have to wear
it
all
was
of your
rough.
underwear on. Like you just don't get any
Yeah.
luggage. Yeah.
Fucking Gurney spent you spent like 80 quid to get a hand luggage and took the bullet so we could all fucking fit our shit in your thing. So that
He
worked
definitely
out
should
for
have
the
charged you all for that.
Well, yeah. To be fair, you teased us because you said the whole trip you were like encouraging us to buy stuff. Like, oh yeah, get a playmat, get a deck box. It can all go in my luggage. And then it came to the last day to packing. You're like, I don't know if I can take any of this. And we were all like, but luckily it did all fit in.
No jokes.
But that was pretty shit. The airport experience in general.
I don't know. It could have been a lot worse. It wasn't that busy, all things
That's true.
considered.
I think it made the experience back a lot better because I usually hate airports. Like, I'm twitchy in an airport, but having sat in an airport for 9 hours, the 2-3 hours at Prague airport was like, oh, we're on the plane. So that was good.
Where's the security?
Yeah. Oh, man, that was sketchy, yeah. Obviously, you guys
My
didn't
kind
come.
of
I don't know
airport.
if you've been to Prague on holiday, but they have no airport security. Like, in the airport. So you can literally go all the way to the terminal without going through a scanner or anything.
Wow.
Fucking hell.
They only scan you as you get on the plane, basically.
Yeah.
Stop giving
So you
Michael
can
ideas.
get pretty far with an ACO.
Yeah. I,
Through POS.
I mean, I literally kept saying that to Dan. I was like, you could literally walk in this airport with a gun. This is really bad. Why do they let you do this? But
They're much more chill over there.
I don't know. There were a lot of armed police, to be fair.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like,
see a single
pretty
one.
fucking serious looking armed police.
So Dan, friend of the Templar, was there as well.
Yeah, Dan was there. The Gammon was there. Popular anti-hero.
Any good results from them?
No. No. Dan, so
So bad time all round.
it was Dan's first RC. I think Dan. How did Dan do? What were the records? So Ed, let's go.
I
from
dropped
left
at
to right.
2-3.
Ed 2-3. Michael, you were 5-3.
I lost my winning to whatever record that is.
5-3. Rocco was the day tour.
Yeah,
You were
6-3.
6-2 into.
Oh, sorry, 6-2, yeah, into 2-4.
Yeah, so the wheels came off. Gurney was. We don't talk about that. I think. Yeah, 0-3. And then Dan.
I've got in my head 4-4, but I might be wrong because I think he played on. I don't think he dropped.
did play on.
Yeah, good experience to play on.
He did play on because he was gatekeeping.
Oh yeah. He played on for
The dream
4-4.
crush plan.
I think he was like
Yeah.
free.
Wait, no, that was a complete lie because he came to the pub with me.
I think he
Pub bracket is the
I
best
think he
bracket to
gate
be in.
kept. I think he played on for 1 round in case he got paired up
Yeah,
into like
maybe.
anyone he knew or something.
Yeah.
So maybe he dropped at like 2-4 or 3-4, something
Yeah,
like
that sounds about right.
Who else was there? Ricky and Alex, I think both like 1-3 dropped, 2-3 dropped, something like that.
Yeah.
Phil 1-3 dropped,
I don't know.
0-3 dropped. I don't know. Phil dropped quite early as well.
Phil just played the Open.
Phil wasn't qualified for the main event.
No.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, it was the LCQs, wasn't it?
Not everyone can turn up with barely any sleep and go 4-0 in the last chance to qualify like the Giga Chad.
That was pretty
hot.
funny. I think
hot.
and I love rubbing it in, and it's a bad time to rub it in given Amulet aficionados Will and Ed here, and Amulet had some pretty big numbers yesterday at the RC taking down.
Holding on.
Yeah, Portland, was it Portland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's something I want to get some opinions on. Obviously, the EU RC, you had to have a 6-2 record to make day 2.
Yeah.
Whereas in Portland, it was 6-3.
6-3. I mean,
less players? Is
I
that
think it's bullshit.
No, there was both about 1,000 players.
So do they play an extra round on day one and one less round on day 2?
No, I think it's same rounds overall.
So that would be
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I just said, yeah.
Was it? Sorry.
So if EU's
Oh,
8
yes,
rounds,
sorry.
you have
Yeah,
to have
yeah,
6-2. Does that mean that they've just they move around from day 2 to day 1?
They've literally just cut around from day 1 and kept it 6 rounds for day 2.
Yeah.
Day 2's always.
So it's just an
6
extra
rounds.
round. The same amount of people.
Yeah, I think RC has one extra
yeah.
round overall. I
But
think.
obviously, it means a 6-3 record goes through, and it's probably a better experience for everyone.
Yeah, I
Depending
mean,
on how you view it.
Yeah.
I think it's.
But it must impact your percentage chance of the next day.
Well, I think it
anyway,
means you pretty much need to win every game on the day too.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's a
But
lot
you
more.
get another
hope,
day of
though.
magic, I guess.
Yeah.
and
Like
you're still within a shot of like getting to the PT and achieving things, right?
Because you lost 2 rounds on day 2, didn't you? When you went 6-3 into day 2.
Yeah. What did I end up? 10-4, 10-5.
10-5, and you almost at 11-4. I think you cashed.
Yeah.
So like
no,
it still has that hope of like even if you 6-3, even if you drop a round, you can still like maybe get some money if you get lucky. Whereas I think day 2 pretty much as long as you go 50-50, you're like guaranteed cash. Maybe even us. Is it cash? I think.
What for the E?
If you go 6-2 into 3-3, so what is that? 9-5?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
you need.
was
Yeah,
cash.
you needed to get at least. I think it was like 27 match points.
Charlie just making hand gestures.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, at least 27 match points to actually cash, and then 30 was Pro Tour. So
Okay.
Yeah, I think 30 here, you 50-50 on whether you pro tooled or not.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have much of an opinion on it for Ghent because Ghent was like a fucking write-off when we.
Well, Ghent
went.
was 6-3.
Yeah, but like I mean, like I didn't even really gauge that it was 6-3 because that RC was such a shit show for us personally as a team. But yeah, I mean, I guess it would have been nice because I ended the RC 5-3 as well, and the possibility of like another round to get that day 2 is pretty appealing, I guess.
yeah.
But then maybe they don't make as much money on the Open. That's why they do it.
I think the next day you have like the rebound or whatever it's called, right? That's just set up a lot better. The more people you kick out, the bigger turnout you get for the next.
But I'm
But is it better though? Because then they didn't do a top 8.
Oh, that's just shit tournament organising.
Well, that's what I mean.
You need a top 8 or like.
Maybe if the extra round was there and the Open was slightly smaller, they've got room for a top 8.
I like the
Maybe.
sound of that. Why do you not work there? You got better answers than they do.
I mean, maybe I'm making it up, but I'm pretty sure the Opens used to be higher participation, and it was better pricing. Like the massive Open qualifier or whatever. Because I know this Open was absolute dog. Like, what record did you have in the Open, Gurney? Because you did really well.
I can't remember.
6-2, buddy.
Was it
6-2.
That's the one. It's all coming back to me.
So like you went 6-2 and got like
Half a box.
Wow.
yeah,
Really?
and it
That's
was
rubbish.
75 euros entry, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But you caveat that with it was a good Open package in the sense that you got a deck box and play mat. So,
But that okay, so
It's like
you,
a 50 euro
you say it's
tournament.
50 euro tournament.
yeah,
with the,
yeah. But a 6-2 record should be getting more than half a box.
What was the top 8 pricing then?
It was super top heavy, I think.
Was it very top heavy?
Yeah,
I think
So
it
I
was
don't mind that
two
as
grand,
much.
wasn't it, for top 8?
Oh, was
And a qualify for the next RC, right?
What was your
For
placement?
the
then?
RC. That's
Yeah, no,
it.
it's-
Yeah.
I came 39th.
No, I don't think so. I think it was just
Gotta
for
be,
the
it's
next
got to
RC.
be better than winning a
Out of 600
12-player
people.
RCQ.
Yeah, I think it was just sorry, but I was
We were just fucking up the podcast by having a side conversation while there was a main conversation happening.
so speaking of chaotic stuff, I doubt anyone watches sneaker shopping here, the Complex show.
It depends on who's on it, right?
So they had the who's the comedian in Bad Friends podcast?
Bobby
That's
Lee.
in
The
Lil
ginger
Dicky's
kid.
show.
ginger guy?
Andrew Santano or
Santino, I think.
Santino
Yeah.
and Bobby Lee.
Bobby Lee, yeah.
Yeah, they went on it and it was so fucking funny. Like the Bobby Lee just kept like popping off at the host, being like, "The fuck do you think you're doing?" And Andrew just kept being like, trying to host a fucking show. But yeah, watch it. It's pretty.
Yeah, not a fan of Bobby Lee. He's a bit of a spicy character.
I like the Bad Friends podcast, but I didn't like him in Sneaker Shopping. It was like too much of a villain character because he like me and Jess watched it, and Jess was just like, this guy seems like a total prick. So yeah, kind of like James Kelly. No, I'm kidding. James, are you okay, bro?
What is life?
We shouldn't have sat you near the heater.
I've taken bets on him actually falling asleep and throwing up.
It's quite cozy in here, to be fair.
It is pretty fucking hot, and we've got to film another video
What?
after this.
It's
So.
fucking freezing in here.
You're having a laugh.
You are
What is
having a
up
laugh.
with
That's just your poor circulation, mate.
There's no way you're actually cold, are you?
Yeah. This is like lukewarm.
That's wild.
That is.
I'd be opening the window if I was at home.
Yeah, I'd be.
Yeah.
I'd leave the room.
Please do.
I can't. That's wild because I run hot, right? But I'm a big dude. I'm a fat guy. Like,
Why the fuck are you wearing shorts?
because it's fuck. I knew it was hot as fucking here. To be fair, like I came in here earlier to like sort the mics out and stuff, and it was really warm. But I thought if I turned the heating off, then Todd would complain because he gets a bit old man about it. Like,
He really
I
does.
can feel it in my bones.
Joints.
And obviously, if Gurney's cold, then God knows what would have happened if we turned it off.
So the running joke in the team is dead. How was your first RCQ? Or RC? Michael?
Oh yeah, shit, yeah. Michael actually made his first RC.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, that
No longer.
that joke was hilarious. That went on for years. Yeah, it was good. It literally just felt like a GP,
Yeah.
which was very nice.
You're going to the revival of the GP, right? I think you're the only.
I intend on it. If no one else goes, then I guess I'll go with my other half.
Yeah.
And
Where is
yeah.
it? Where is it?
I have no idea.
Utrecht.
There you go.
Oh,
Utrecht.
okay.
Utrecht.
It is in March as well.
Yeah, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm really tilted because I didn't want to go, and I have other stuff booked. But then after Prague, I was kind of like, actually,
I've got the bug for sure.
yeah. I'm really looking forward to Axion. I think, are we all? I don't think you can make it, can you? I think everyone except Rocco's Axion. So that's going to be
Excuse me,
Those boats aren't-
Captain.
He's
gonna
forever
row themselves.
rowing away from his
Yeah.
problems,
Yeah. That's
sailing down the long old river.
Yeah, gotta be captain of another team. So.
Oh,
Your preferred team by the sound of it.
A winning team.
No. This team's great.
I mean, to be fair, I guess
one lot more.
when one of them is related to like your actual like real life education, you probably have to somewhat pivot
Yeah.
towards it a little.
I heard he's just
I
not
think
allowed on the UEA campus, though, right? You're just going to a different campus to ravage their women.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to be there during the light. But I was saying to Will that I haven't been to a Megmon in like ages. Like, I think the last one I went to was Sheffield. If that was a Megmon.
Yeah, it was.
That was a mega. That was one of the more
but
recent ones.
But it
Like,
didn't really feel like a Megmon.
I was going to say, to be fair, and I mean nothing, downward towards Axiom for this because I don't think there's anything they can do about it. But I do think they don't quite feel the same anymore. And I think it's like the player base. I think there is very much a shift in.
For me, it's a venue thing. I certainly felt more like at Edgbaston. That feels like more of a
Mega Modern.
mega modern because you've just got this huge room and lots of events happening at the same time. And then after that, you've got these other avenues for side rooms where there's more events going on. Whereas you're cramming into a little store in some of these, and you've got like 100 people finding as much room as you can find.
For me, the like.
Sorry. Just Jarvis death step. Or Gurney's just twirling the fucking mic.
I think it's the yawning.
The,
is that is it the yawning? Yeah.
No, it's the twirling.
Oh, okay, right.
Sorry.
It doesn't stop either.
It's like that
Just encouraged
hipster
him.
gyrating. What is that from? Something gyration? I don't know. Flailing wildly? Futurama? That's Futurama,
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
The OG Mega Modern is definitely the Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
What did you used to be before Leonardo's?
Jury's in.
Jury's in. That was it. That for me, that's always been the Mega Modern venue.
But I think that has a similar vibe to like the store.
I know, which is but
it does feel different. I don't know why.
I remember going. I remember going to that Megmon or those Megmons back in the day, because between rounds, I used to just literally walk out the door, turn right, go up the lift, and then go to sleep for like 20 minutes, and then go back down, get a notification that my round's starting, go back downstairs. And then
That was the perk of that. The fact
Yeah,
that you could
it
leave
was so,
everything
so
in your
good.
room and go up
Yeah.
and down and
yeah.
Do they not do it there anymore?
No.
Yeah,
it's-
Jury's Inn was very. They were like a fan of hosting the. Like they were happy to have Axion, but I think Leonardo's kind of were like.
they want that big corporate money.
Yeah, I don't think it quite had the same appeal.
Which is understandable, I guess, from a business.
Yeah.
Like,
But it
if
was
you
a
are-
fantastic venue. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
historically, that was where, like, it was quite nostalgic. I think I went to maybe 8 there, and they were always a big and like like when mega legacies were happening, and there was like 200 people legacy tournaments there, which were just wild.
Did you go to the one at Stansted?
Yes.
Yeah. I
The
thought
prob-
it was okay. It was like, it wasn't.
It was
amazing.
the parking. You had to like walk,
Yeah, the parking was
like
terrible.
do like
yeah.
a mile and a half
Yeah.
walk to get to the hotel.
Or a mile walk to get to the Burger King or the Leon that's in the terminal.
What wasn't Jury's in the first one we went to as a team?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones.
Because I think our first event was pretty good, right? Obviously, this predates Will and Ed, but I think that event
That was when
Alex was playing with the team.
Yes, yeah, and James qualified.
Yeah, James
for
like we.
Ghent.
Yeah, was it Ghent?
Sophia.
Sophia.
I think it's because
Bulgaria.
we completely not boycotted the event, but like there was 6 of us all in the top 8,
Yeah.
and it just felt like
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. Like,
That was the Pioneer RCQ.
Oh, no, that was-
Pioneer RCQ.
But no. Gurney top 4'd the Mega Modern. No, I remember.
That-
Gurney top
yeah,
4'd the Mega Modern,
Yeah,
and then
he
the
did.
next day he won the fucking RCQ.
One.
What a virgin.
Yeah.
I'm shit now.
Completely
I
washed.
heard you won that RCQ, and you managed to lose the quarterfinals. No, lose the semi-finals and lose the final, and still walk away with.
No, he
qualification.
lost the quarterfinal. He won the semi.
yeah, Alex.
You didn't win
Alex
the semi,
spanked
right?
Against
you.
Jamie Pope.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
an
Former team
interesting
member,
top
yeah.
8.
damn, that was Norfolk stack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there was the other mono white player. I can't remember his name. The Scottish guy. Andrew.
Andrew. Yeah.
Yeah, made top 8 as well, and you were the only 2.
We were the
on
only
mono
2
white.
mono white, and he was my only loss in the entire day,
Yeah.
apart from James.
Yeah, it has been a bit of a turbulent time, hasn't it, James? I mean, you were the famed the best blue white control player in Pioneer in which RC was that? The Lille? It was Lille, right? When you had the best record
Leo.
of every blue white control player.
Which is very good. Like, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
Considering the deck is shit.
Yeah.
Why did you play it then?
Because I like shit decks.
Did you just get a draw instead of losing all 3?
Yeah, I was going to say, how did you get back in time for the podcast? Because you were playing Yorkmorph, weren't you, at the weekend in Portland? Did you see that guy that went 503 into day 2?
He's a giga chat.
Base.
And he tweeted out being like, I wasn't playing slow.
And then fucking Dom Harvey was like, yeah, you were. Yeah, that did feel pretty bad.
Still more day 2s.
Yeah.
Day 2's a day 2.
Yeah,
Day 2 is a day 2.
Yeah.
Got to keep that MTG elo up.
Especially when you're 9 points behind me.
I know. And I don't
That's
even go to
fucking
any
worrying.
tournaments.
Yeah.
I have to admit, it's so humbling. One of the other friends of the Templar, Raoul Zimmerman, who shout out to Raoul. He helped us out with the invitational prep, and he's an all-round great guy. And when you look at his Elo profile, you're like, oh wow, we're all shit. Like, that dude hasn't played in years, and he's just like stacked.
That's how he keeps it up, though, right?
Oh yeah. You just never play another tournament. I think the last tournament he played in the UK was when he won the Mega Modern, right? When he was playing, I think he was playing Breach before it was good.
I mean, Breach has always been on the peripheral, I think, as a good deck.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
To go on to that conversation, then, do we think it's obviously, so this is being filmed the Monday after the RC, whatever date that is, in Portland. So, do we think Breach has become enough of a problem to warrant a ban?
No, definitely.
No. I think it had differing
We've
results
got divisive.
in Portland and in Asia.
Uh,
For me, it didn't look like it had as consistent as a conversion rate. You know, if it was both regions having a consistent conversion rate, then maybe it's an issue. But I think it had differing conversion rates.
I don't think there were as many Breach players for Asia, were there? In comparison, there were way more Murktide and way more energy.
But conversion doesn't care about how many players, right? It's how many convert.
Oh, you mean day 2 conversion? Sorry,
Yeah.
I think the day 2 conversion was pretty damn good for Asia as well. I think energy was the
thought
big
it was.
loser. Energy fell off massive.
Well, it's because Breach
both
eats
of
it,
them.
right? For the
Yeah.
most part.
I know, Mengu's calling for. There's the whole shit show on Twitter of why are we waiting till March? Ban it now.
No, I think you've got to let the format grow around it a little bit. There's always going to be a deck that has a higher than average win percentage, but it's if it performs again next weekend or the weekend after, then maybe look at it. But I still think it's early days.
That's the difficulty, because it's all these tournaments are in quite a congested period. Whereas I think if the next big modern event was 3 months down the line, I think it could look completely different.
Yeah. We just don't know how to beat it effectively yet. You've got a good sideboard hate. Even recently, we were talking about Amulet winning the RC, right?
Yeah.
And the deck it's because the deck's malleable and can pivot into different strategies between tournaments, right? And it has a lot going on, but it takes a long time to adapt.
Breach is a really easy deck to overboard against.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people fall foul to, and they lose out on their actual strategy because they've just brought in all these hate cards, which are good, but then you don't do anything yourself, and the Breach deck has plenty of time to get out of trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there was enough time. So, Michael, you were nodding your head for the ban. What's your take?
So generally I'm against bans because I just think just learn how to build your deck to beat the best deck. But Breach is the one deck where you can melt down on turn 2 and on turn 3 and then blow up all their shit, and then they draw an Underworld Breach, and then they just all of your sideboard hate that you did, they can just bring it back from the graveyard. The combo card that they use also gets them back all of the parts of their combo. Whereas with a lot of other decks, you'd bring in something like old standard. You could bring in stuff like Return the Ranks or whatever it was called, and it'd bring back all your creatures that your opponents had killed. But the fact that this is I guess it was the same with that as well. I don't know. I can't really articulate it, but I think the fact that the combo
there are so many.
It's so hard to hit out
cards that can interact with it. Is whether you're interacting with the graveyard, interacting with the artifacts. I think it's a futile strategy to try and deal with the artifacts in a destroy factor. I think that's where
that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah,
I'd
agree.
I think the traditional hate pieces, if you're playing an Amulet deck or a Breach deck, there'd normally be an opportunity cost in having cards to blow up a Stony Silence or a Rest in Peace, for example, within your deck or your sideboard. And now with things like Beseiju and Teferi and Prismatic, there's just no opportunity cost towards playing main deck answers to Artifact and Enchantment hate pieces.
I think that's fair.
That's literally what we spoke about in Discord, wasn't it? Yeah.
This unwritten rule that a Blood Moon against Amulet Titan would win you the game most of the time, or at least buy you 10 plus turns. Now they always just have the Presage or pick it up and bam. It's like you've just sneezed and nothing's happened really.
So that would be my thought. If there was a card to ban, I think it should be Malevolent Rumble, purely because it gets you to see so much of your deck so quickly.
No. Just get rid of Urza Saga.
No.
I think
please, no.
Urza
Just
Saga
got
would
Amulet
be-
and Breach in one card.
Amulet doesn't need to get touched. Amulet's fine.
No, Amulet is consistently the best deck in the format and always doing the most broken things. You just hide behind your
Keep
little shield
reciting
of, it's hard to play.
Yeah,
I think
you
Urza
keep reciting the
Saga
whole
is
name.
actually a spicy discussion point for a ban because it doesn't kill either deck.
It's such a fun card, though.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
Is
it
it really, Ed?
It is.
It
does
is
so
a
much.
great fun card. That
It's
is
so
brilliant
fun.
card.
I mean, in Breach, it's more of a suspend mocks for 2 turns card. It's
Yeah.
it's very rare they kill you with constructs, but
Same with
I
Amulet.
think because of all the printings of all the cards, so with Tamio being in the deck has made like Mox Amber a lot better, and Malevolent Rumble obviously made the deck a lot better. So I think it's not just one card we're looking at. I think it's just like a multiple cards together.
The deck is an Is-It deck, though, and it's only splashing green for Malevolent Rumble. You take that away, it's got then no reason to be playing Boseiju. It's got no real reason to be playing Shifting Woodland.
But I'd argue that if you take Urza Saga away, it means you only have to attack the graveyard, because the artifacts are kind of irrelevant at that point. The only reason the artifact backup plan, like, say you completely exile the graveyard, the backup plan is make a shit ton of constructs and beat you down with massive power. If you, I don't know, it does take away that element.
I think Urza Saga is one of the best cards in Modern, and there's no question of that. But it's also like now one of the big, I don't know what the word, staples of the format that keeps people interested in Modern. At least for me, like Urza Saga is a big reason why I love Modern, because it's a card that brings a lot of decision trees, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Decision trees. I'll get my amulet and then win. Big decision tree there.
It's not, is it? It's like, do I need to make a construct on my turn 2? Or do I need to play Urza Saga on turn 1 and risk being blown out? Like,
you see the complaining of the Eldrazi player just can't get over the fact that he gets his shit kicked in.
I think both decks are combo decks. Consistently win on turn 2 and 3, and it's very boring gameplay loops, and each game is repetitive.
Sounds like a Pioneer player to me.
Just nerf.
You're playing the wrong format, buddy.
Back to turn 4.
I would agree with that. To be fair, they are the most Amulet and Breach specifically are the most egregious decks in the format to watch win, particularly when there's no win and you have to wait and watch and wait.
You can concede at any time. Like, if I have 2 amulets and I've got Bampo,
but it was like that guy
when
I messaged in the team chat that was playing on stream for Portland, where that Eldrazi player literally just had to watch him go through his entire library because he'd fucked it, and he just had to sit there and wait until the guy just lost because he just got signed an Oracle.
That's a big difference, though, with the way Amulet is now. It's quite easy to explain, and it's very deterministic once you've reached a point where you can just recur an Aftermath Analyst and explain that.
Breach definitely.
Breach is a bit different because you can fuck it up, and I think it's easy to fuck up.
Yeah. I think Amulet's easy to fuck up as well, to be fair, which is, again, it's that.
It is, but once you've got to the Analyst point, then there is no fucking
But I mean, in terms of, like, that is the only reason it hasn't been banned, is that difficult to play.
Do you think it draws parallels to Nardu in terms of like how it
Amulet?
Yeah. Like in terms of like
100%.
In terms of the gameplay.
As an opponent, Breach
as like how you get to the end game in terms like
I think
like presenting the combo and stuff.
But
Nardu's like really hard to get deterministic though. Like it's like 98% you're going to win, but there's that 2% that doesn't. Whereas I think Amulet is different in the sense that once the cards are actually in play, you go, I've won now.
Yeah. I'll present a loop. Infinite Titans. Nardu is, okay, if I miss 7 lands, then I have to stop, right? Like, Nardu was never determined. It's like, it's non-deterministic combo. It's like eggs, right, in that sense. Eggs was never a deterministic combo, but it would get there 95, 100% of the time. Whereas Amulet is much more like your kind of, I don't know, Storm, right, where you get to a point where they have just won.
But by that logic, both as a opponent and as a spectator of the game, I would much rather play against someone who's like a 95% combo chance, non-deterministic combo to win, because there's still that 5% chance they mess up, than someone who's like, oh, here's my loop, I've won. That's miserable to watch as a spectator. That's miserable to sit there opposite against.
But that's specifically from a spectator point of view.
Yeah, that's.
But also, as an opponent, sat there watching my opponent doing it, I'd much rather sit there and play against Nardu every day than Amulet.
Really?
Yes.
I think you're in a minority there.
Yeah, I think that's a very. I would heavily disagree. I
can see there's similarities, but I can't agree that.
I wouldn't prefer to play against Nardu, but I think from where I'm sitting,
you're playing a blue-black deck mostly, right? It's like little interaction for what Amulet does when it's doing it.
But I mean, even like playing other decks, because I never played blue-black in the Nardu days, but I think as an opponent, playing against Amulet and playing against Nardu is very like akin. You are kind of just like, oh, here we go again.
You sit there and it's like, this is miserable to watch.
And Breach, I'm throwing Breach in with this as well. And Storm, like, I think they're all
But at that
very
point,
spin their wheels kind of.
at that point, you
Here
have
we
a
go.
problem with combo decks, which
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and combo decks are you love them or hate them, they are part of Magic's DNA, right? Like,
But I don't think they're a problem. The reason, like, Amulet isn't played enough to warrant a ban, like, realistically, because it doesn't have high enough players. Like, you know, you don't see it enough in tournaments. But Breach, I think, with the popularity, you have an egregious combo deck that is seeing huge numbers, and it's converting really well.
I think that's the thing, though. That it's like just the new hot sauce. People are wanting it. It's good. It's great into the other big popular decks of Eldrazi and Boros. So it is just a good choice. I don't know if it will be in 3 months' time. It might be.
No, but
at that
people are
point,
playing
you might
it
have to
because it's
consider it.
good. Because they might be like, well, I've only got 3 months to play it. Well, it's the best deck in the format. It's similar to why not everyone picked up Nardu, because everyone knew Nardu was going to get banned. They still picked it up for the 3 months they could
It's got a
play
very
it,
high
because it's the
floor.
best thing.
yeah. Also, I'm not like, it might be controversial. I'm not convinced it's the best deck in the format. I think it looks like the best deck in the format because it's the new hotness. It's good into certain matchups, but again, I think you can beat it. Like, there are ways around beating it. Like
There
you
is
say,
always an
their
element
main
of that.
combo pieces, graveyard interaction will then run more graveyards.
Yeah, I think
Right.
people will
I
realise.
don't think it's as simple as that.
Not as simple as that, but that's probably. I'm probably simplifying it too much, but I do think there are definitely ways to beat it, and I don't think it's
I
necessarily.
think if people
the
like
best deck.
stopped with the Stony Silence and maybe moved more to Rest in Peace, it would be a much better way of approaching that matchup.
I think this was before Prague, but Mengu put out, and I think also Corey Vine must have put out, that Stony Silence is just the definitive best card against Breach. And I'm so glad that I registered 2 of them in my sideboard, because the only times I played against 6 Breach players over Prague, and I beat 4 of them purely down to Stone Silence. And the other times they come with me on 10-2, and I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So like that's like the ceiling and the floor, but like I feel like in my eyes Modern's like a wheel. So there's always going to be like decks that sort of like eat each other, depending
for
on
sure.
different percentage points. So like, for instance, like Boros is I'd say pretty good into like blue black, for instance. Blue black is probably quite good into.
Nothing in a minute.
I'd say like
Amulet.
I don't know, like,
Amulet. Yeah.
like
It's
Amulet.
Amulet.
Like and then like Boros gets eaten by like Eldrazi. So like, there's like a wheel in my mind that how the format works.
You mean rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does
yeah.
exist, Rocco, but just Breach just doesn't have a natural enemy.
It does, Amulet.
Yeah,
the data is
It
there.
does.
Play Amulet if you want to beat
Yeah.
Breach.
Oh yeah, 2 uninteractive ships in the night going past each other.
Oh,
What a brilliant format.
Amulet
the game.
interacts a
7
lot in that
mana big
matchup.
thing.
That's why it's good.
That's the thing with Magic, and that's why I love Magic, because it's variance. Like I think any deck is capable of beating the other deck. Like I think that that Boros player was more than capable of beating Alex Rohan in the top 4, but he just got very unlucky with his draws, and Alex didn't. So, and I think it's just that's part of the game. Like people get lucky sometimes.
I'd agree, and I think it's important to consider, like, outside of actually being a spectator and playing the game, the meta game is a puzzle, right?
Yeah.
That is part of the game. Is what do I take at the weekend? Because there's definitely Breach is not an unbeatable deck, right?
No.
It's
sure.
just performing exceptionally well at the time. Is that because people aren't considering the overall metagame? But if you remove the combo decks, you remove Amulet, remove Breach, then what you have is a really fucking boring format.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You have Pineapple.
I'm not saying remove them, I'm saying slow them back down to turn 4.
Yeah, but even
Make
if you
them less consistent.
Turn 4's too slow. For
That's
one.
way too slow.
But even if you slow them down, or like you just another big fish is going to be there, and then in 3 months' time we'll be complaining about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like
Right.
if they ban Breach, then Boros will just still run rampant.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it's still
It does feel a
in
bit
my
like
eyes,
a
I still think
necessary
Boros
evil.
is percentage wise one of the best decks.
So
Oh,
what you're
yeah,
saying
for
is
sure.
we need Violent Outbursts back and some Rhinos. And some
Would it
beans.
be good enough anymore?
Exactly, bring it back.
I
Bring
think
back
you
the
could probably
beans.
unban Outburst, and it
And
wouldn't
beans.
be that bad.
Did Violent Outburst get banned before MH3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be fun. Be fun to see what happens.
No, you get some degenerate shit for the aggro decks though when you bring Violent Outburst back because Living End just comes out the woodwork.
End step, wrap you
Board white kill you.
Yeah, but when Breach is the most common deck and people are playing Graveyard Hate, like, I don't know. Like, it is
Yeah,
interesting.
again, that's the puzzle though. But we think that Wizards or people in Wizards are actually thinking about the impact of I think they just fucking ban shit, unban shit, see what happens. Right?
Yeah. So hot one. Rather than a ban, do we need unbans?
Oh,
Like unbans.
Yeah.
Unbans are great.
Wait. I want to hear from Will because he got Splinter Twin.
Twin is all right. Okay, right. You want a fun deck? Play Wizard Twin.
I'd like to talk about the meta share.
Meta share. I don't give a shit. You want to
Win
have
rate,
fun?
you also don't care.
You want to go
An
turn
old
3,
man is talking.
flash this in, tap your land, untap, win the game. That is fun.
Did you see the Living End Twin deck that top 8?
I did. That was so hot. I need to stop playing shitty Amulet or trying to chase the metagame. I've just got a bash out Twin, Tamo Twin, Living End Twin, every Twin variant. Amulet Twin, is there something there? Probably.
No,
Let's try
Don't
it.
want there to be.
I really was genuinely happy that they unbanned Twin to sort of show people how shit it is.
Yeah.
Because
For sure.
Modern has just changed.
Yeah.
Each Modern Horizon 3 that's come, or each Modern Horizon set that's come out has redefined the format.
Yeah.
Like
For sure.
regardless of what anyone
I think some
thinks it
cards
has.
should remain in the grave. Grief, I think, is a good example of something that is just negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Fury.
And Fury,
Yeah.
Give me beans.
Beans.
But like for instance,
Okay, maybe we're...
I know this is a hot take, but Birthing Pod, I don't think that should be banned.
Oh yeah,
Like, I
no
think-
reason
Yeah,
to
that's
do
dead, right?
Like that card is just terrible. If you print out a Modern now, like maybe one Yogmoth.
Yeah, same kind of thing with
It's-
Depths as well. Like, just unban that.
I'd be in some dark depths. I'd be in some dark depths.
I mean, I'd love it, but unban Field of the Dead. Let's
The thing
go.
is that you
let's
know
make
it's
Amulet
all-
into a
You know what?
into a.
I think we can unban some of Blooming Field of the Dead as long as we just ban Amulet of Vigor.
It's fine. We've got Spelunking.
Yeah, there we go. Easy.
Yeah,
Us
get
to
rid
do
of
it.
Yeah, Saga can't get Spelunking.
That's
you know?
true. It's a good
I think
point.
he only triggers untap once.
Yeah.
I think some of the bannings, the old bannings, were done in a period of time where everyone was complaining a lot because there wasn't good enough answers in Modern.
Yeah.
Whereas now
they're too
there's
good.
now there's stuff on lands
no.
you can put in, like the Seiju and like
The answers aren't good enough. It's the answers to the answers are too good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
It does
very
feel-
profound.
Everything has been
Big
powered
brain.
up like hell. Like that Demir bounce deck in Standard is fucking painful. Like that is like modern levels of egregious control, just bullshit. Like it is kind of crazy.
Is that the blue light you're going to take to Megamon then? Let's go. Let's watch you play Standard Bounce.
No. I actually want to play that deck, but I don't want to buy what is that card?
You don't need to. I don't even know what card you're thinking about, but you don't need to.
No. You might be using them for the next RCQ.
The Storm Chase Talent. Oh yeah, you will need that one.
Yeah, that's. And to be fair, I don't have a playset of the Overlord.
You don't want the Overlord.
I'm pretty sure most lists are playing.
No. I'll hook
No?
you up. You don't need no Overlord.
Okay. Most lists are playing.
you just
No,
play a
no,
2/3 that bounces your shirt and then
I have two
a
Overlords.
Planeswalker
Do
that
you?
can't be counted.
Do you want to buy another one?
Great fun.
I'll sell it to you cheap.
Not are they that expensive?
Yeah, good times.
Yeah,
times.
but on the topic, I wish Wizards did unban more stuff just to prove
I think they will.
that
Yeah.
the cards aren't scary anymore. Like Birthing Pod back in the day was really scary, like really, really scary. But now I don't think it's that scary.
Give me the One Ring.
I
No, that can
miss
stay
the
in
One
hell
Ring.
forever. Like, fuck that card.
The One Ring was pretty.
This is a man who wants Titan ban, by the way, and he's
Yeah,
now
yeah.
preaching for unbanning the One Ring.
It's a 4-mana spell that gets cast on turn 4. What can I say?
I think the One
When
Ring
did-
was a good experiment, but
Nah.
No.
When did you become just like an Eldrazi scumbag? Like, you've never
No,
played
I'm-
The
Tron
Eldrazi's
ever.
new. I mean,
I'm an anti-amulet scumbag because that deck is just.
I've never
It's
known
the worst.
someone to hate the deck
Yeah.
so much. To be
well, he's just
honest.
been bent over by you and I one too many
Probably.
times.
And that's not even magic.
That's what's happening on the couch later.
Oh, I know why you prefer Nardu now, because when you run it, I beat you on turn 2.
Yeah.
Nardu
No,
was.
deck in Modern should be able to win on turn 2 or turn 3. Hot take.
that's why.
Yeah, but Burn can win on turn 3, can't it?
yeah.
Well, very
Love Spike.
specifically.
Yeah, I know, but like,
Love
Go to the
Spike.
burn expert here. How would you
I
do
think
it?
that is what modern is, though, right?
I mean,
that's what it should
Hot
be.
take: I'd rather play against Nardu than Breach at the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, interesting.
I would rather, yeah.
Not even close.
I
yeah.
think the game.
Like genuinely, I would rather because I know how to attack it in terms of like what I need to do, and it's just, and it just
cut him off.
because like there's lots of different things and avenues you can go down to like beat Breach, but like if you do one avenue, the other avenue's gonna fuck you, and like Nardu, you just have to just remove the fucking bird.
Or
Do you not find the
or you just
game-
Rakdos charm after they do their thing.
Yeah. Just like I felt more comfortable playing Nardu in the Nardu season than I do against Breach.
Yeah.
Because
So
a very prolific Breach player will kill you very quickly.
to be fair, the only time I've ever heard it, and this is a bit of a banter thing, I don't mean anything by it, but it was Nardu season when the only time I've ever heard of a judge having to go over to a player and say, could you please advance your board state? was when Michael was in the final against Nardu. Because it is just like, spin the wheels, and nothing's happening.
At least Breach kills you.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to
Rather
say,
than
like,
you sitting there for 50 minutes.
It's the X problem.
Assuming Breach doesn't kill you on turn 2, I actually think the games against it are really interesting, and they're like quite fun to play. But that might just be.
But
me.
they're unforgiving if you stumble.
But I think that's a good thing. That's where you want to be, right?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is it just needs to be slowed down.
No.
No Urza Saga.
No, because the
Slow
deck's
down.
just not good then, right? And then it doesn't see play, and then you don't
I
get
think the
fun
deck
games.
is perfectly fine if it's slowed down to turn 3 or turn 4.
So you can play your Eldrazi on turn 3.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
you
I mean,
like-
you
And then
play
still
it
die
Emrakul
to
on
being
turn
tapped out
3,
and combo
like-
happening.
Just as a consensus in the room, does anyone want anything banned at the moment?
No.
Yeah.
Saga.
What piece would you ban?
What would you ban?
So I don't actually think the Breach deck is the problem. I think that built-in answers to Sideboard Hate is the problem. So Beseiju and Otawara, I think, are just naturally cards that ruin the format. Because, so for example, I play Leyline Binding in Zoo. I have an answer to any permanent other than lands, just for 1 white mana. If that was like, that used to be things like Path to Exile, and then your cost for sideboarding would be, okay, I'll bring in Ancient Grudge. And now it's just like, I just have this answer. It beats artifacts, enchantments, creatures, planeswalkers. I don't even have to think about deck building. I just have built-in hate. I just think they need to...
It is a one and done though, like Otawara specifically. Like it's coming back. Do you know what I mean? Like you've dealt with it for 1 turn, whatever the piece you.
Yeah, but if it's a combo deck, that's all you need. You just got end of turn, bounce it, untap, win.
Sure.
So like,
sure.
if you have that and a couple of Besages, like...
I think Besage is
it's
worse because the Amulet deck can play it as a land early and then pick it up later to use as hate.
I think
Out
that I
anti-hate.
think just the entire idea of generic answers is just very mind-numbing.
Do you not think 4 mana is a good roadblock for it? Do you think that's...
Yeah, but Beseiju isn't, right?
Yeah,
No, yeah,
none of
so
them-
Beseiju I
the
can see,
legendary
for sure.
reduction, right? None
Yeah.
of them are what they say they are.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was thinking on the same train as you, Michael. At one point in time, I did think, God, why is Beseiju legal in this format? Because it's just miserable to play. And I was playing Titan back in the day, and I was just like, it's like I felt invincible. It didn't matter with the Bloodman because I just have a basic forest and Beseiju it in the end stuff. So. Yeah,
I agree that Beseiju would be the one that is definitely the most powerful, and I think that was quite obvious early on. I'm not sure what difference it would really make. I understand your argument, but I don't think it would have a great deal of an impact, to be honest.
Unless they print like a new hotness, like a completely new deck, or invigorates a new whole deck. Like I think personally, one deck that I wanted to play about with for Prague, but I didn't get a chance to, was Samwise combo. Which I still think is actually quite a good deck.
Yeah, I think that's slept on.
I think it's missing a piece though from it. Like Birthing Ritual is really good, but I think it's missing something else from the deck, which will probably get printed
Mox
in
Opal.
this year.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Would anyone, if you really wanted Breach gone, would you just reban Mox Opal? Because it's
I
been
don't
banned
think
before
so.
as the problematic one. It just makes artifacts. Any artifacts they print in the future, that much more powerful because it comes down earlier.
I think you could use the same argument for the card Breach though, because Breach just gets better the better.
Oh, for sure.
The stronger
Yeah,
cards
yeah.
get Breach gets better. as
sure.
well.
I think the best ban they done in recent years was Amped Raptor, just because it's like nerfed Boros, but Boros is still one of the best decks, and that's great. I think that's where we should be with our bannings.
Yeah.
Fury was good as well, I think.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But
Again,
no,
it should have
just
been
because
grief, right? Like,
yeah, but Fury ban kept Rhinos alive and Scam. Like
Yeah.
they were just worse.
sure.
I think
Until
they
Rhinos
did
became a problem.
Grief one ring ban the wrong way round. I think they should have banned the one ring and seen how Grief
Maybe.
lasted and then banned Grief. But they banned Grief when they should have banned the one ring. We had another month and a half, 2 months
They
of the
still
one
had,
ring
Lord
when
of the
everyone
Rings.
was like, "How did you? Why?"
Well,
They still
again,
had-
that's just their schedule. That
Yeah, but they still had loads of Lord of the Rings products they needed to sell.
But yeah, that's why I'm a big advocate. If they were to ban anything, it should be probably like Rumble, because it enables the deck. It puts Breach in Teamer unnecessarily, and then
And it's
that
not
would
a
lose
financial hit as
Alpha
well.
But isn't there another version of Malevolent Rumble?
Well, there are cards that do it, but none as well as it does. You've got to think it's
Yeah.
a 1-mana spell once you've cast it once, and you're recurring it with Breach.
Rumble is crap.
It costs a green mana.
Yeah.
I think I would slow down Amulet and Breach. But also...
I would ban the necklace.
I think I would do something to make control decks and 4-colour Omnath decks.
You are
better.
so brave rocking on that chair. What is wrong with you?
I really hope it just the mic goes.
I would do something to make 4-colour Omnath type Ren and 6 decks better, and...
Astrolabe? Unban that?
Yes.
Well, no, because then the Breach deck would be 5-colour.
5-colour main blood moon.
But
Yorion?
potentially something like that, yeah.
But then we all...
You don't want Rumble ban, do you? Because Eldrazi play it. I see
that's
what you're
literally
on.
it.
Yeah.
I think this conversation's gone full circle about 3 times.
Yeah.
Shall we move on?
I would do something to buff the more control-y mid-range decks of the format to see how that would...
I don't think you. Yeah, I don't think.
To be fair, I do respect that. I like. There isn't really I feel like modern is best when you have the kind of, again, proper rock paper scissors
But
when you've got control.
You've got Orzhov,
combo.
like that's filling that
Yeah,
role.
but it's
That's
more,
just
more
a
mid-range.
creature value mid-range deck.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, but
that's what you want, right?
You kind of want a hard control though, like as like a
Hard control
permission
definitely could
deck.
do with some
No,
help, but
I'm not
hard.
sure hard controls ever existed in modern.
You think?
Omnath control was not a hard control.
No, that
like
wasn't.
none of them have ever been like counter magic,
Cryptic Command and Electrolyze.
counter
And to
magic.
be fair,
Oh, baby.
real deck, but not even like pre-MH.
I mean, back in 2014, there was the Jeskai twin deck was pure control, and then it was just going to kill you off.
Yeah.
No,
I've said this before, and this is not even that related, but old Magic is so bad. Like every time someone's like, "Oh, back in 2014." After everyone kept going on about how great Modern used to be in the local community, I went back and watched some of the GP finals, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with people? This is the worst format I have ever watched.
Nah, it's just
like
my heart.
eggs and
So good.
Siege Rhino was the best.
So
Yeah,
bad.
Siege
No,
Rhino.
yeah, but I don't mind Siege Rhino being the best. I just mean like, was it like eggs and fucking Summer Bloom running riot, and it's just
John.confdon.
like that was
Death
fine.
Rush Shaman. Like,
That was most.
yeah, just
That was literally like maybe 10 months of Magic.
But
Yeah, but it's
it was when
cocaine.
like when
great.
Twin was a thing as well. Like the Twin player was dead, and the commentators like, oh, they've already gone through one Twin. There's 2 left in the 40 cards, and they drew it and they've won. And it's just like, okay, like this is so bad.
Great
I
time.
think what you're missing though is that now Modern is like, oh, there's 3 months of nothing, and then 1 month has 3 or 4 RCs in it, and then it's back to there's 3 months or 6 months of nothing. Whereas back in the old days, there was a Modern GP at least once a month around the world.
There's not
and
enough
then
players.
and then like every 6 months there was a Modern Pro Tour.
I just don't.
where-
Yeah, but there aren't enough players.
Like,
I think there's enough players.
was
It's
a
just the way
case
they're
of-
scheduling it.
Yeah.
Like
You
that's
could
all in
follow
their
the-
hands. We can't control that.
You could follow the Modern GPs as a rock paper scissors. Like this month, the meta is this is clearly the best deck, and this is the scissors to beat the rock.
okay, so
And then the next month, it rotated round again. Another.
to continue playing devil's advocate, I don't think Axion have sold out the Mega Modern, like by a long stretch. That's in a couple weeks. They haven't sold out any of the Mega Moderns, I don't think, since Darksphere. And every Lorcana event they've done has like gone, and they've had to reallocate tickets towards Lorcana because it's so much more popular.
I guess we
think
jump
there
ship
is
then, don't we?
Yeah.
What's that?
Put our princess outfits on.
But like
Already.
seriously, I think, you know, it's got to the point now where if I go to an event, even an RC, you know a lot of the players, right? Like you recognise a lot of people, and it's not because you know them personally. It's because this is the same group of people that go to every tournament. I think the player base is pretty damn dry.
But then if you look at that, you look at what Modern is now and the dry nature of the player base, and then what Modern was then, and how many people loved Modern, and always were like again locally, you know, kind of speaking locally, Modern used to have like 20 players or something like that. It used to be very popular.
The reason that Modern previously has been popular is because it's been directly fed by a standard format. Everyone had the cards, events were run on a regular basis, stores were invested in the WPM program. What we did was we lost everything in COVID. We lost all of those programs. We lost all the money. Star City Games moved back. Channel Fireball moved back from running events, and then it just has never really recovered. Whereas Lorcana was like, here we are, this is our program, this is our space, and now everyone's like, well, but you're running stuff. Flesh and Blood equally are running stuff. Wizards just haven't been able to make things happen.
Yeah, but they are just putting the money into Commander.
Well, exactly.
I think it is. I always have the joke that I bait people about that I don't really mean, because I realise I'm the outlier. But as I've grown up, I've liked video games less. As an example, right? I haven't played video games outside of League of Legends since I was 18, maybe. So my assumption growing up was, okay, this is what I got told as a kid. You grow up, you don't play kids' games anymore. Like, I don't like video games. Everyone must be like that. Obviously, they're not. I'm the outlier in that I've grown out of that hobby. Is it just that people have moved on from Magic? Like, the amount of people that used to come that now have kids, families, like, is it just that there aren't any new players coming in? And is it a case of genuinely bleak talk in 10 years, will there be a comp Magic scene?
I don't think it's that. I think it's the fact that before COVID, Modern didn't really rotate. There were 10 to 12 different viable decks, and then because there was a tournament every month, it'd be, the top 5 decks would rotate between those 12 decks every month. And now you just have, 6 months has gone by and the entirety of Modern has rotated into Modern Horizons 3, and you've got to spend
Is it
£400-500 a game.
Is more available? And
no, I think it's the people who previously had Modern decks that were part of those 12 that didn't rotate. And now, why would I spend another £500 to keep up with Modern when I'm only going to pay one tournament?
Well, I
in the
mean,
next 6
look
months?
at these neckbeards that are Amulet fans.
I mean,
like,
we're the
hard. They had to buy in the last.
Exactly that.
They've had to buy an uncommon fucking analyst, right?
We're
the deck's
like the
been the same
hardcore,
since MH2.
But that's the only deck, though, right?
Yeah,
We're the hardcore degenerates that haven't but spend loads of money when the format does now rotate.
I'd argue that you could play Is It Murktide right now from MH2 Is It Murktide, and it would do almost as well as the. They're both trash. I mean, that
Right,
who was
Sullivan.
it that did? Who was it that actually did? Was it Patrick Sullivan?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he
Literally
did
just
terribly.
but he played cards he liked and still went even.
But
Like,
But he is also he's played on the Pro Tour for like a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's obviously
Yeah.
a significant outlier compared to anyone else that's going to pick up that deck.
And I think the problem is that you're right. You can take your pet decks, but it used to be
You actually had a chance of
you
winning
have a
with your pet
chance.
deck.
Yeah, you used to be one. You used to burn jobbers, right? People who would just take burn because they fucking loved it, and they do well. But if you try and take burn,
Spike.
Well, that dude took John to the RC and like.
This is the point of the unbans, though, right? It's trying to reinvigorate that, and I think Wizards will keep doing it.
The unbans won't stop Wizards from printing Modern Horizons 4 in 8 months' time and rotating the entire format.
But it's not 8 months; it's every 2 years, which for me is an acceptable rate, because at that point you want something a bit new. I do think MH3 they made a big hiccup. I think MH2 was pretty much the sweet spot.
I think the only good at MH was MH1.
I thought MH2 was really good.
Yeah.
I think the MH sets have been a net negative for me.
Yeah,
they might have been on a whole.
I think you used to get more excited about standard. Standard cards used to actually come into the format and change things up. You know what I mean? And now it just doesn't.
Can I try this one-off standard card in my deck as a sideboard piece, or like a spicy, and then the whole world got rocked with Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah.
Well, like I was a very prolific John player back in the day, and I
Can you define prolific, please?
I played every FNM and every tournament with John.
Prolific.
And I loved it because I spent like 800 or like 900 quid on it, and I knew it was set and it was fine, and it wasn't going to change.
Yeah, and you knew it'd still be worth 800 quid in a year's time, and you'd not be able to look at the format for 9 months, and then a week before the tournament in 9 months' time, you'd maybe re-update your deck with a couple of new sparkly cards. Spend 20, 30 quid. I mean, if you wanted a rotating format, you'd just play standard. That was it. The whole point of Modern was a format where it was cards that you had, that you were nostalgic for, that you wanted to play, that you knew that almost like they wouldn't expire. It was kind of like a single player game, Modern was. Like, I know God of War is an amazing game, but it's a single player game and it's back in my library of games to play. At some point I'll play it, but it's never going to go anywhere, is it?
But then what's happened is Commander becomes the thing where you can go, I get to play the cards that I like. And then Modern dies, and Modern becomes the hyper competitive. You need to be updating your deck every time.
I'm not sure that's true because Commander's a multiplayer format with a lot of politics and social interactions.
But how
involved
could a format
cater to different people?
How could a format that never changes and rarely evolves and never really has any outliers, and you can put a deck on the shelf and a year later play the same deck? How can, I didn't play back then, but how can that ever be considered competitive? Because there's no bleeding edge. No one's trying to tech anything.
No.
Shit,
because
right?
the decks themselves, the 12 decks themselves don't change, but the percentage of how popular each deck is at the tournament does change.
Yeah.
So there is still edge to be gained by metagaming. Like, there's 10 decks in the format that are viable, but this week I think Jund is the most popular one.
It was heavily metagamed.
Yes.
So Dredge would be unplayable, the best deck in the room, unplayable. Because of how people changed their
So you were just playing rock, paper, scissors and had to gamble on which was going to be the most used.
But also, it was more affected by standard sets.
I think that's cool. I do think that's cool.
It's not the fact that it would just be static forever. It's just that if you put your deck on the shelf and a year later, not much has changed.
Yeah, you'd have to buy 5 cards to update it.
You'd be like, I haven't done it. What's happened? This new card from.
So I've got a good question. So what if we took a standard deck now and had it play against a 2017 Jund deck? Like I think a standard deck now would nearly come out on top, if not be on top. And I think that's just the nature of
power creep.
There's
power creep in standard.
It's the rate.
Horizon's just super power crept.
The rate.
Yeah, the rate of power creep is probably more of a problem because of the Modern Horizon sets, right?
Yeah. They may have increased it.
Yeah,
imagine if all of these
got out of control.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying. I think it just got out of control. Like it used to be like, collective brutality got printed. Now it goes into Jund. Now it's just like it's not like one card gets added. It's like 13 cards get added. It's actually a new deck.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, imagine if we hadn't have had the MH set and we just had this power creep standard coming into Modern. Like, Modern would be less powerful, but you'd be seeing a lot more cards from these past standard sets. Decks would be, different decks can be created and made and built around.
But to play real fucking devil's advocate, as a James Gurney, I own all of Modern type player, I have still boxed in deck boxes put together Hardened Scales, Amulet, Dredge, Burn, Merfolk. Haven't touched them in over a year, and I guarantee that I would have to change like maybe 10 cards tops.
Sure.
And I don't think any of them are like super expensive, crazy powerhouse. I don't think the format changes as much as people think it does. I think it's a lot of chasing the edge.
I don't think any of those decks you just mentioned would actually come first in an RC though.
Yeah. That's the thing.
And that's the difference is that
one of them
is that years ago you'd be like, Ad Nauseam has won a GP.
Yeah.
Scred won a GP.
Scred Red has won a GP.
John's won a GP.
But
GPs were
I
softer
think this
though
is
as well,
GPs.
right?
GPs were softer because anyone could enter.
Yeah.
There were no stakes. So you
I
qualify
don't
for
think
an RC.
having anyone being able to enter a tournament makes them softer because by the time you get 10 rounds deep into a 15-round tournament, all the kind of weeds have been weeded out.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
If I qualify for an RC, I know I'm going to a tournament in 3 to 4 months that I have to prep for that 3 to 4 months. If I decide 2 days before where is it? Utrecht. I can just go, yeah, sure, and get on a plane with Dredge and go, yeah, fuck it, I'll just send it at this
Yeah,
one.
but by round 4, those people aren't in the tournament anymore.
But,
Yeah.
but
You don't
know
by that logic, sometimes
Generally,
they are.
like you can
They-
make-
they
But
can be.
by that logic,
Looking at the
Stephen, then you're gonna have
But we
10
don't know.
times as
We
many
don't know
players
because we
in
haven't had
Utrecht,
any GPs, right? We haven't had any
and
GPs.
there'll be 2 extra rounds of the tournament, and they'll get weeded out in those 2 extra rounds.
But we haven't had any GPs, right? This is the first one, I think. Utrecht?
Since COVID.
I think there's been
So,
quite a few
COVID.
Magicons, right?
Yeah, but Magicons aren't GPs, right?
Well, no, but they've had $75,000 tournaments in them, right? Which are basically a GP.
I
yeah,
don't
I mean,
know.
you're right. To be fair, you're right. It's untested. Like we can. I think I would be more on the people will get weeded out early in those anyway. But it is untested. We don't know.
I think the other
question-
percentage will be a lot bigger.
Yeah, but my
Whether it
question
does
would
well
be-
or not, I don't know. But I think.
Yeah, my question would be with all those 5 decks. What did you say it was Amulet, Dredge, Hardened Scales,
Merfolk and Burn.
Merfolk
Oh,
and
and
Burn.
Tron. Tron's
Tron.
changed a lot because
Yeah.
that's just a dead deck. So,
But-
yeah.
Would you ever choose if you wanted to do okay at a tournament? Say your favorite deck was Merfolk, love Merfolk, best deck. Would you ever take that to a G? Like, would you ever take that to an RC or a bigger tournament?
I don't think I'd take it to an RC, but I'd take it to GP.
Would you
I'd
take it to a Megamon?
Yeah, I have. I would.
Yeah.
I'm playing Frog. Frog's bad.
Oh, wow.
I have
would
no
disagree with that.
question of,
I
like-
disagree with that, but
Nikachu won a modern event last year, didn't he? Just before MH3.
That was one of the open weird things, wasn't it? That wasn't.
yeah,
With
but I
Merfolk.
think, but I
the
think
NRG, I think.
sorry,
Yeah.
you're losing out on percentage points to do that, and that's fine
Yeah.
if you want to do that. But that was never the way it worked.
But how do we know what was
Well, it was, wasn't it?
Adnors was
I don't
just
think it
like
was.
some psychopath that just rocked up and thought, I'll play Adnors today. Did they not lose percentage points on...
I don't think it was as significant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nowhere near.
You saying you didn't used to lose percentage points, but you've told us that they did because at one point it would be a rotating of 12 to and 5 decks would be the better one. So
That's
if you
fair.
bought the 6th
Yeah.
deck, you're fucked, right?
That's fair. You would lose, yeah, but you wouldn't lose. You would.
It's the same
you
thing.
have much more of a chance, right? If I decided I didn't ever want to
The
use
gap's probably
Just,
got wider.
just
yeah.
to put it out there, by the way, for context of anyone viewing, the engagement of this conversation, me and Ed have only been playing competitive Magic since like 2019, 2020, dipping our toes in and then properly
Later than that,
for
wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
properly for a couple years. Todd left Magic, so he's attached to comp Magic, but also left and came back. The 4 that are impassioned about old Magic are the longest playing Magic players
for
that have
sure.
never given up and played it.
Don't like
since
change.
for sure.
10 years old
absolutely.
onwards.
Like I think I've been on record on video saying I want Splinter Twin back for years at this point. Like,
But I do
it
think
is
that's
bias as
I do
well,
think
for
that's
sure.
an important definition.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's why I know that I'll always try and find a reason Frog's good, for example, because I like Merfolk, because I like blue, like mid-rangey bullshit, whatever.
yeah,
So
your
you say,
playstyle.
yeah, but it's not even playstyle. I'm talking like the rose-tinted glasses of trying to justify, like you know, you guys think Amulet's completely unbannable, even when sometimes it gets on the edge of like, maybe there's a few cards in there that are a bit.
if most of the people played Amulet, if people actually seriously played Amulet, not at the moment, but if people did, it would have been banned. It's just the fact that it's a hard deck and people lose with it.
But my point is, I think there is a lot of bias towards like the rose-tinted glasses of nostalgia. Like, I think that is an important
Yeah.
factor to consider.
I respect that. I think I would disagree, but obviously I have those roasted glasses on. So I mean, as much as my disagreement's not gonna, yeah.
I'd say it's partly that there was a lot more Magic to be played then,
Yeah.
and there is much less Magic to be played now. So there's a lot less incentivized to take the risk of playing
Yeah.
something spicy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you're only going to be playing once in the next 2 months.
Yeah, there's
Whereas
more stakes with every
previously,
tournament.
There was more RCQs, there was more RCs, there was more GPs. You know, you could do a GP a month and play Merfolk.
I mean, to be fair, Brexit hasn't helped as well, because it's made travelling a lot more expensive, so the commitment to going to these things. And none of the fucking tournament organisers want to do them in the UK for obvious reasons. The same.
There's a lot of
kind
external
issue.
factors
Yeah.
away from Magic as to why it is the way it is now.
Yeah. for
Is
sure.
the entry point to all these other games that are doing really well significantly lower?
Flesh and Blood and Lorcana are fairly similar to like Standard and Pioneer. Maybe
But
not Modern.
Not modern, because because obviously
Flesh and Blood probably is modern.
Yeah, I was going to
fair.
say Flesh and Blood's pretty close
Yeah.
to modern, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The weird thing with Flesh and Blood is like the deck is like under 100 quid, and then the equipment is like 200 quid a card.
But they've kind of solved the problem of like the gameplay loop, because your deck's never really like rotating in any significant way.
The equipment never really rotates,
Yeah.
so
So-
you can invest and you're kind of fine.
is it like picking a hero in Hearthstone?
Yeah, and you can just play the game, and you change some of the cards here and there, but ultimately it's not a huge cost, and you could sit on the same hero for like 2 years.
The way they do bannings for problematic decks is really good as well, because when you win tournaments, depending on the size of them, a hero gets points, and when it gets to 1,000 points, you just can't play it. And that's
cool.
done.
Mm.
But what they do is, because they can see it creeping, and their product design is actually quite quick, unlike Magic, where they plan 3 years in advance, they're already designing replacement classes that are similar but like a slightly different flavor. So like you can there's like 3 ninjas, right? So if one ninja got banned, you could use all your ninja cards in another deck.
So what, when you say that those £200 cards, are those the ones getting banned?
No.
Okay.
It's
So
like your class, or so you have like ninjas, and then there's 3 ninja heroes, and they all have like a unique
Oh,
ability.
so the hero might get banned, but
Yeah.
the archetype isn't.
The heroes
The
themselves
archetypes,
they're literally tokens.
Yeah.
Like in packs they are tokens.
in the token slot.
yeah, because they're not supposed to be worth anything in case they get.
And
really
then
legend.
like Lorcana just is a different, like entirely, right? Like
Well, Lorcana,
it's a more basic game, right? It's
Yeah.
Magic Light, so it doesn't quite scratch the itch, I'd say, for like your competitive.
No, but
player,
they've done
right?
something really clever with Lorcana, which is they've basically I think, like, going back to the conversation we had with Magic players leaving, like having families, stuff like that, those same people who have like families and kids want to sort of like get into sort of like card games.
Yeah,
They take their kids to the Lorcana tournaments because everyone can play, and
Yeah.
the game
Pokemon
itself
has
is quite
that
easy.
going as well.
Yeah, like I think it's a really smart advertisement and sort of marketing thing. Just like it's like realistically, the game plan, the game patterns of Lorcana is the same as Magic. So like, if you're a very like medium to good Magic player, you're going to be very good at Lorcana, like naturally. But I think, yeah, like even the top tier decks of Lorcana are like 200 quid, which are quite cheap. So it's quite easy to get into. And even if you want like a mid tier deck, it's like 80 quid. Which is,
I think that's happening with Magic, but it's just going into Commander now
yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
any other format. I remember the only time I've seen like a father bring their child along was to an F&M, and they were really confused because they were playing Soul Rings and didn't understand the
Yeah.
problem.
I remember that.
And that is purely because the way they've made these products, if you don't really have a good insight, it's so confusing on what's actually legal and not.
I do think that's again going back to the boomer view of Magic, is like there's too many formats. There are too many formats, and it is too confusing. And you know, Pokemon have extended, and they've just left it on a hill to die, and don't support it in any way whatsoever. And I think that is another element. It'll be
Like
interesting to
Legacy
see.
and Vintage.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're still supporting the others. To be fair, but like it'll be interesting to see what the because Magic are doing like a big movie IP, aren't they? Is it a movie or just a show
Again,
or
for
something?
like the 4th time,
Cinematic
see if it
movie.
gets off the ground.
Yeah. And speaking of getting off the ground, I think we need to get off the ground and leave and end this podcast, because we've been sitting here for a while. It's getting hot, even though James is cold because he has
It's freezing in here.
problems. It is so fucking hot in here. It's actually cooled down a bit. It's not too bad anymore.
still
But yeah, thank you for listening to this very rambly episode. We might do this again, maybe like twice a year or something, because it's quite a challenge to get 7 people together in one room at the same time on the same date.
Do like a Christmas one with hats.
Yeah, do a Christmas one, Halloween one.
next time we'll be wearing our Mickey Mouse ears, no? Welcome to Lorcana.
And on that note, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next episode.
Goodbye.